Okay, so welcome to a real quick video on graphing quadratics. Um, this time in starting to connect to the standard form. Last lesson was about factor form. Now we're going to see some in standard form. Um, and just to kind of go over, we do have another form called vertex form, but we don't have to worry about that one until algebra 2. Probably should do it right now, but we're not have that much time because of this whole distance learning thingy. So we got factored form, we got standard form. To go back and forth between the two, we did this in the previous lesson. You basically just need to multiply factored form to get standard form, and then you factor standard form to get factored form. I mean, it kind of goes by the name. So today we are going to start seeing them in standard form. Now, since we already know how to do factored form, the standard form ones that I'm giving you today, you're going to turn those into factored form and then just do it like we did the previous lesson. All right. So the only new piece here is just one extra little baby step of factoring, which we did before. So technically, you're not learning anything new in this one, but we are piecing together some of the things we learned in the past. Now, in order to do this, I want to make sure that we have this trinomial factoring kind of refreshed in our minds. Now, there is another reason why I want to do this refresher is because in future lessons, we are going to start solving by factoring, which means that you need to get this factoring down pretty packed, okay, packed solid. So the first thing is look for GCF. No GCF here, 3, 20, and 12. No real GCF. So 3 times 12 is 36. That middle term is a 20. So you're going to try to figure out two numbers that multiply to be 36 but add up to be 20. Those are all the factors of 36 whole number factors. So it looks like 2 and 18s are the winners. You're going to split that 20x into 2. If I'm going kind of fast, don't worry about it because this is a refresher. Feel free to watch the other video if you want to see a kind of slowed down version. Break it into two groups, factor that first group, take out what they have in common. Leftovers go back in parentheses. I know that the other group has to match that, so 3x plus 2 must be on that side. Start thinking what numbers can be outside to make that 18 plus 12 must be a 6. And then take out the common groups and put your leftovers in the other group. So undistribute that, and then you have factored. So that's going from standard, this is standard ax squared plus bx plus c, this is standard form, into factored form, all right? So graphing quadratics in standard form. Let's go ahead and try this out. So the first step is we don't know how to graph in standard form yet, so let's turn it into something that's familiar. So 8 times this one in front is an 8, 6 is on the bottom. We got 4 and 2. And remember, if your a value is a 1, there is a shortcut. You don't have to do that whole factor by grouping thing. You actually have your factors right here in 4 and 2. So factored form is x plus 4 and x plus 2. And remember that shortcut only works when a is equal to 1. All right. Now that we have it in factored form, you do it just like the previous lesson on graphing quadratics that are in factored form. So let's go ahead and just do a quick preview of that. So factored form, basically, you're going to find your x-intercepts. So you set them both equal to 0. So what would make this 0? A negative 4 plus 4 would make that a 0. So, whoops, I forgot to put a 0 here. So first thing is find what your x-intercepts are by saying y equal to 0. But that would be a negative 4. This one would be a negative 2. Plot those on your graph, a negative 2 and a negative 4. Second step is to find your line of symmetry, which is directly in the center between those two dots. That will help us figure out what value we should start our table at. So our table, and again, in the previous video, I showed 5 points. You need to find 5 points. You don't need this table for 5 points, though, because you're going to do reflections and stuff. Right now, we have 2 points. So I know that my x value that I'm going to start at is at a negative 3. So I'm going to put this into my table. I'm starting my table off at negative 3. I'm going to take my equation, take off my x's, put a blank spot for my x's, plug in my negative 3, do that out. Negative 3 plus 4 is a 1. Negative 3 plus 2 is a negative 1. 1 times negative 1 is a negative 1. Plot that point. That point right there, that is your vertex, because it is on your line of symmetry. Okay, we got 3 points. You can technically start connecting at this point, but to make your nice and neat graph, you want at least 5 points. We got 3. Pick another point, pick it wisely. You can pick any number you want on the x-axis. Do not pick numbers far, far away, otherwise you will be in for a headache. Plus, this graph doesn't fit very much because it goes up to 9. So if you're being strategic about this, if you know that you mess up with negative numbers, I would just pick a 0. That would find my y-intercept, actually. So if I plug in a 0, okay, same thing, take your equation, plug that 0 in. Oops. Put that 0 into your equation, and then solve it out. So simplify it out. 0 plus 4 is 4, 0 plus 2 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8. So 0, 8 is going to be green, and that's up there, way up there. So there is your y-intercept. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 points. You can get your 5th point. You don't even need your table anymore. Remember, your table is just a tool for you to use to organize your thoughts. They make it, ooh, see? My dog doesn't like it when you don't use tables. He'll bark at you. So you got at right here, figure out how far is that from my axis of symmetry, my light of symmetry. It's 1, 2, 3 away. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 over here. And that is where my other dot is going to go, 3 points away. Nice and symmetrical. If you have some weird points popping up all over the place, you might want to double check your work just to make sure that you're doing it right. So now I'm just going to draw in my parabola, and that's it. Okay, that's how you do graphing the first part. Just to let you know, we are going to figure out in the next lesson what to do if this thing isn't factorable. So quick recap, turn it into factored form by factoring. Follow the steps from the last lesson to graph in factored form, which was find the x-intercepts, find the line of symmetry, use that to start your table. That will get you your vertex, find an extra point, reflect it, and you are done. All right. So if you have any questions, let me know. Either contact me during my office hours or shoot me a school loop mail. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.